Hey everyone, good morning or good afternoon. Welcome to the start of a new vlog. It is May 2nd and I'm just getting ready to sign on to work, but I just wanted to check in real quickly. It is a rainy spring day here in New York. We've had rain for quite a few days now in a row, and the grass, I'll show you in a second, is so vibrant and so bright and green. All the buds are coming back on the trees, so it's just so beautiful to look outside and see all this color again that we haven't had for like 6 months. So that's been great. I'm just getting ready to sign on for work, and I just wanted to mention a few books that I started reading. So I'm still reading listening to my audiobook, which is called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This book is really good. I'm really enjoying it. The writing is amazing. I love the character development that we're getting. The plot is a tiny bit, it was a little bit slow in the beginning, but it's starting to pick up pace. And this story is about two friends named Sadie and Sam. It takes place through multiple different timelines within their past, and it kind of flashes forward to the future. But the main part of the novel that I'm in right now is taking place in the late 90s. Yeah, I think it's the late 90s, where they have come together, they're childhood friends that came together again in college and are designing and creating a new video game. But besides that, that's like a small portion of the plot. We're just really getting into these characters so much, and I really like how this author writes. I like how she's telling the story in these different jumps forward and backward. So this was, I think, the #1 pick for the Goodreads fiction this year last year for 2022. So already I can see why it's so popular and why it got such a high rating. So I'm really enjoying getting through that. I'm also still reading Light of the Jedi by Soule as part of a buddy read I'm doing with my brother. And this is a Star Wars novel that takes place way before the very first Phantom Menace movie. So it takes place years and years before that. This one's really interesting. We have a lot of characters going on and a lot of different storylines. We have 4 or 5 storylines going on right off the bat. So it's been a little confusing to keep track of the characters, who they are, if they're human, if they're a different species. But the writing is fun, and it's all starting to come together better for me. I'm probably about a quarter of the way through that. That's just been fun. And I'm also reading The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. So this is the final book for me in the Chronicles of Narnia series, and then I'll be done with that series. Already I am liking this book more than I liked The Last Battle, so hopefully this is going to be a good conclusion to this series for me. I've heard that this is a favorite for a lot of people. That's why I tried to save it for last, and I did The Last Battle before that. I'm out on a quick walk. It's raining, but I have my umbrella, so it's all good. And I just wanted to touch base a little bit real quickly about Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. So I'm a little over halfway through this book. I really, really like it, you guys. I don't know what it is about the book. It's just such a study into these characters, and they're so likable, and we're seeing not only Sam and Sadie's perspective, but we're also seeing a lot of Mark's perspective, who is Sam's best friend. He is half Japanese, half Korean, and he's their business partner. So he's kind of like the producer for the games that they've created. And it's just like, I don't know, I'm not even into video games. I mean, besides Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt and like some of those early 80s Nintendo games, I don't play games at all. Like, I really am not into games, but just like the way that we're learning how the process comes together and all these different themes into like Sadie dealing with being in a masculine centered career, and just like what failure feels like and how to get through that, and what success feels like and how to navigate through that. And sometimes success isn't always like, people aren't always super happy even if they're really successful. So that's been interesting. Another really interesting part about this book is how this author explores and talks about pain and chronic pain in general. So our main character, Sam, he was in a horrible car accident when he was young, and it really destroyed his foot. And he's had chronic pain in this foot for many years, like since he was little. And it just is like, it's eye-opening how she talks about what it's like to just feel pain on a constant daily basis, and how people that do feel pain like that all the time, they experience pleasure in a different way. Pleasure to them is like numbness and not feeling anything at all. And some people that are in that amount of pain all the time, they can't even believe that they're ever able to feel pleasure. So it's really interesting. It makes me kind of emotional because my dad actually had chronic pain like all through his life. He passed away, unfortunately, at a really young age, at age 52, but he had chronic arthritis and a lot of orthopedic issues. And he was in pain every single day, like almost every day. And just reading about Sam's experience and how he manages that and handles it, it's just like, it brings me to tears just thinking about how that is how a lot of people in this world live, just with pain every single day. And I'm not saying like the book focuses a ton on that. Like if you're not interested in reading about people in pain, that's not really a big, huge part of it. It's just that it's hitting a chord for me specifically because I just, have had someone very close to me in my life that had pain. And I know like as you get older, you start to have pain more, and you might not have it every day, but you start to get aches and pains, and sometimes it lingers. And so just that feeling of like appreciating when you don't have pain is so wonderful and beautiful. So this book, besides that, that's just a little part of it, but I wanted to just talk about that in case anyone noticed that who read the book. It's really engaging. Like I'm excited to pick this up and listen to it. I'm definitely going to buy the book because it's going to be one of my favorites. I know that for sure. I also really love how strong the female characters are in this. We have Sadie, and she's just like how she handles her relationship with Dove. I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but it's really interesting. Let's just say there's some abuse going on, but she walks away from it with such a good mind frame, I think. Maybe not the healthiest, but it's good in my opinion. I just hate reading about female characters that stay in abusive relationships or they just think it's all their fault. And sometimes people do think that way, but just it's refreshing to see her take on it. She's so young. And there's also a character named Zoe who is just, she's so mature in her relationships and as far as like not feeling possessive of being in a relationship with someone else. And I don't know, I just like the female characters a lot so far. I don't know what's going to happen with this book. I don't know if things are going to turn and like get bad or worse or whatever, but right now at like the halfway point, I really am enjoying everything and it's a great read. So just wanted to touch base on that. I don't really have too much else to say about the other books. Okay, so the rain did let up for a minute. So yeah, I did start Agatha Christie's Passenger to Frankfurt, and this book it's like, I'm not going to say too much because I think I'm going to do a separate vlog about it. It's interesting. I don't really know what's happening. We're almost halfway through the book and I'm like, what is going on? Like, where are we going with this? And I do know going into it that the book is a bit of a hot mess in terms of the author just like throwing in the kitchen sink and changing plot lines and it not making sense. So I guess that's to be expected, but I am finding that is the case. But the writing is good. I like her writing. I like the way that she talks about the characters and describes them and their thoughts. So it's like not the worst book in the world, but I'm like not hating it, but I don't really know what's going on. So that's my first Agatha Christie experience with her. And I haven't really picked up The Last Battle. I'm just trying to get through Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and the Agatha Christie book because those are both due really quickly at the library. mom's house this morning. It's pretty early in the morning and we're getting ready to take a little trip to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I just wanted to show you these beautiful spring blossoms. She lives in an area that's a little lower in elevation, so all the flowers are ahead of us. But it smells so beautiful. Oh my gosh, walking past these lilacs, it just smells so good. And then we have the little apple trees, the crab apple trees and the blossoms. And it's just a beautiful morning. It's pretty chilly. It's in like, I don't know, the high 40s, I think, which I'll put Celsius up there. But it's gonna be getting a bit warmer, definitely a lot warmer as we head down from New York to Pennsylvania. It'll definitely get warmer. But I just wanted to pop in and just share my thoughts really quickly. So I finished Tomorrow and Tomorrow yesterday, and it was really good. I really liked it. It doesn't have like quite the lasting impact to me as like Four Treasures of the Sky did, but it was really good. I really liked the characters. The writing was absolutely beautiful. There were so many quotes and thoughts that I really liked, and I felt like the story came together really well in the end. And there was just lots of different themes that she explored. She talked about the pain thing that I mentioned before, and also the how to recover from failure. Just this idea of a friendship style love that is almost more pure and unique than any kind of romantic love, and it can have just as many tribulations and trials and challenges, but you know, that friendship love is so strong, and it is just as strong as a romantic love. And I loved like the perseverance through loss, the themes of death, like in contrast to the video game style of death, where if you die in a video game, you can just come right back to life and start over, where that's not exactly the case in real life at all. So there was a really interesting parallel to that. And it was such a really well-written book. So I would probably give it 4.5 stars, but I took away just half a star because the last 1/3 of the book, I felt like the pacing was a bit slow for me. But just really creative. I loved the story. I can definitely see why this won Books Awards for the best fiction book of the year, because it was really, really good. So I'm moving on. My next audiobook is I think it's called Peach Spring Blossom. And this is by, I can't remember the author, but I'll put a picture of it here. And this is a historical fiction. It takes place in Japan, China, I believe. Really enjoying that. I really love reading stories that take place in an Asian culture, and just going to try to see if I can squeeze as many books as I can with Asian characters or Asian authors, or you know, something along that line. But so I'm going to end the vlog here. I'm taking a quick trip to Lancaster, Pennsylvania this morning, so I'm going to start a new vlog with that footage. But sorry, I'm out of breath. I was just walking up this hill. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful reading month, and I will see you soon.